Algorand was once hailed as the blockchain that would replace Ethereum. Silvio Micali, MIT, pure proof of stake. But fast forward to today, the hype is gone. The price, boom, crushed. And most retail investors have completely written it off. So the real question is not, can algo go up? It's, does Algorand still matter in 2026? Or is it already dead? So let's break it down. No hopium, no memes, just cold reality. All right, guys, welcome back to Ledger Prime, where we focus on capital preservation, macro trends, real infrastructure, and we cut through the crypto noise. We look for signal, not noise. What do these stories mean, and how can we make money? No meme coins, no pumps, just long-term asymmetric bets, if they still make sense. So the story today, right? What are we talking about? Algorand. Algorand in 2026, can we make a buck? But before we talk about that, remember on this channel, we always need to understand the underlying tech. What does the coin do? Does it fit the narrative that we've built and where we see finance and crypto going? So that's where we're going to start. So Algorand launched in 2019. It was created by Silvio Micali, a literal cryptography legend and Turing Award winner. Its goal, simple, just simple. Fast finality, low fees, high throughput, no forking, energy efficient. On paper, man, beautiful. That's what everything crypto should be. Perfect, right? Write it down. Yep, perfect coin, right? So on paper, Algorand solved a lot of problems before most chains even realized they existed. And technically, it still does that. It has finality in 4 seconds. The fees on Algorand, fractions of a cent. No games, strong security model. But here's the problem. Technology alone does not win markets. And that is something as a computer programmer, as a developer, somebody who's been in back-end web and cloud development for over 20 years. You can have the best tech, but with no marketing and nobody using it, it doesn't matter. And that's where Algorand struggles. So what went wrong? What went wrong with the project? Algorand's biggest failure wasn't code, right? Like we said, the code is beautiful, right? It's amazing how this thing is architected. The problem, though, is adoption and narrative, right? Just think of this. Think MySpace and Facebook. If you're old enough, hopefully you are. If not, go look it up. MySpace and Facebook. Now let's just say Facebook, right, it's got amazing tech. But what if nobody cared and they didn't go use the platform? What if they never ran one ad and nobody was on it? It wouldn't matter regardless of the tech. Okay, so what we need to see happen is Algorand has amazing tech. It needs to get people. It needs adoption. Okay, so their biggest failure again was not code. The network is sound. It's adoption and narrative. And while Ethereum was building DeFi, NFTs, L2s, and had institutional mindshare, Algorand was focused on grants, partnerships that never scaled up, a confusing tokenomics model, weak retail engagement, and aggressive early inflation, foundation selling pressure, and a brutal bear market. And Algorand, if you were in this, got absolutely crushed. From almost $3 to pennies. And that damage matters because price destroys perception. Say that again with me. That's a very key phrase, is price destroys perception. Oh, it went down. It must suck. There's something wrong with it. No, it just fell out of favor with no marketing. There's nothing wrong with it other than people aren't using it. And if people don't use it, we can't make money. Okay, but algorithm's not dead. It still matters. And here's where things get interesting. It didn't disappear. It is still out there, and it's pivoting. Today, Algorand, it's kind of shifted focus, and it's focused on real-world assets, institutional grade tokenization, government and enterprise use cases. Algorand is one of the few chains actively working with regulated financial products. Carbon credits, huh? Oh yeah, we like to save the planet. Carbon credits, identity solutions, payment rails. This is not a retail casino chain, and that's intentional. If crypto's next cycle is driven less by meme coins, and on this channel, we say the days of the meme coin are over. So we don't even talk about them. And the next cycle is going to be driven less by memes, more by tokenized assets, traditional finance integration, and compliance and regulation. If that's the case, Algorand suddenly kind of looks relevant, in my opinion. So that being said, let's talk about 2026, and Algorand's price. Where's it going to go? Should you put your money in there? Right? Because we need to make educated decisions based on real world events, real world catalysts, partnerships, where we see crypto going. Okay, and let's be clear. I don't have a crystal ball. Neither do you. Right? We're going to talk about real scenarios, not guarantees. So the bear case, and this would be low adoption continues. Right? So Algorand fails to attract developers. Real world assets are going to stay mostly on Ethereum or newer chains. Right? Algorand doesn't get any market share back. And no strong narrative return. They can't do it. They just kind of stay as they are. In this case, we're talking 10 cents to 25 cents. Still alive, still a network, but irrelevant in the greater scheme of things. So the base case for Algorand, which is probably the most likely scenario, again, no crystal ball here, this is not financial advice, but we see slow institutional traction, gradual growth in the real world asset and tokenization, some enterprise adoption, some of these partnerships maybe start to pan out. No retail mania. Crypto plods along in 2026. In this case, I could see Algorand 40 cents to 80 cents. Not sexy, right? You know, this isn't Ethereum. Ethereum's sexy, right? But respectable. It's on the climb. Now my bull case. The bull case. This is what we all want. And this would be infrastructure rotation. People start moving on to Algorand. Okay? Tokenization of real world assets explodes. Stocks, bonds, treasuries, right? All the financial instruments are going to be first to go. It explodes. Governments and TradFi need scalable, compliant chains. Algorand becomes boring, but essential infrastructure. And that's the key, essential. What is the niche it can carve out and solve so everybody needs to use it? In this case, we're looking at $1.50 to $3. And this is not to the moon math. This is narrative rotation. So what should you do as an investor? Because here's what we like to do at Ledger Prime. We take these stories, we look at where we think things are going, and we figure out how can we make money and be smart about it. So Algorand, it's not a conviction heavy all-in play. No. It is a small, asymmetric allocation in your portfolio if you believe Algorand's infrastructure can win long term. So if you're holding Algorand, if you have a bag of Algorand, understand that this is a multi-year thesis. Okay, I know we did a 26 prediction, but let's think out to 2030. What is it? What does finance look like? What is the infrastructure going to look like? If you believe Algorand is a part of that, again, a small piece of your portfolio. You need to expect slow progress. Not huge explosive pumps. That's not what we're about here. Okay? Real money is boring. Right? You get rich slow. If you get rich slow, you don't have time to get poor. Okay? So we need to watch real world adoption. Watch the news. Look for partnership announcements. Don't look at the price. Okay, don't look at the price. The price will follow if the news and the adoption goes in the direction we want it to. So if you're not holding Algorand, there's really not a rush, in my opinion, to get into this. Okay, the market and the network needs to prove itself. So buy the confirmation, not the hope. Once we see things moving in the right direction, it's not going to the moon. It's going to be a slow grind upwards. And guys, capital preservation comes first. Do not blow up your account. Okay? One wrong move, getting a position too large, right, could wreck you or could lock you up, right? It could freeze you up for a while. So final thoughts here, guys. Final thoughts. Algorand, it doesn't need hype to survive. It needs utility, patience, and time. And 2026 won't be about the loudest chains. It'll be about the ones still standing when regulation, institutions, and reality show up to the party. That's the bet, not the pump. So if this helped, guys, if it's helped you cut through the noise, hit like, subscribe, and drop me a comment. Is Algorand undervalued infrastructure or a relic of the last cycle? Remember, guys, this is Ledger Prime. In the world of crypto, it's volatile and it moves fast, which is why we need to stay focused and lock in, because the world is about tokenized.